Hello, my name is Jocelyn Chacon, and this assignment is the interviewing PowerPoint. This presentation, I will be reviewing the case study that was provided and evaluate the interview process and what should and shouldn't be asked during that process. Discussing the skills that are vital for potential employees. Explain how organizations ensure that the interview process aligns with ethical hiring standards. And describe the ethical principles of the NASW Code of Ethics that were violated during the case study interview. The case study interview that was provided is about a recent social work graduate who is applying for a case manager position at a nonprofit organization who serves diverse communities. There are many questions that were asked in this interview that were not ethical or should not have been asked, and the interview was not professional in the way that was held. Um, this interview was really interesting to me, and it made me think about some of the questions that were asked. The individual that was being interviewed is like I said, a recent social work graduate who is applying for a case manager position. And after reviewing the interview, there were many questions that were asked that did not seem ethical or appropriate. And I do not think the interview was professional in the way that it was held. There are many topics that can and cannot be discussed during an interview. When completing an interview, it is important that as a representative of the organization, that the interview is held professionally and the questions that are asked are ethical and comfortable for them to answer. Work history, education, skills, criminal convictions, career goals, and salary amount that is expected if they are chosen or hired are appropriate questions that can be asked during the interview. Marital status, childcare arrangements, healthcare concerns, arrest record, or religious beliefs are questions that are not appropriate to ask during an interview. During Maria's interview, she was asked some questions that were not appropriate and could could make her feel uncomfortable. Um, in the textbook, this quote really, you know, says a lot about what, as a leader, should or should not be asked. It is the responsibility of the leaders, managers, and organizations to be aware of the laws, legal ramifications, and impacts resulting from inequalities, racism, discrimination, oppression, and microaggressions in the workplace. So, as a hiring leader or manager, you should know all the different laws and regulations when it comes to hiring. Interpersonal skills needed for potential employees. Um, when working in a workplace that serves diverse clients, it is very important that you have the appropriate skills that are needed to serve those people or clients. For example, when working with other coworkers, it is important that working together is something that is able to happen in order to be successful and working as a team. Being able to clearly communicate with others is also something that is important, especially when you are working with different populations and communities. Um, an article or another journal entry that I did find says the soft skills needed in the modern labor market are interpersonal social skills for personal development, happiness, individual progress, social participation, and work success. Um, I think so. Also, just wanting everyone to be successful and um, to grow within their role in the organization. The hiring process can be a very long process. But it is important that the time is taken to complete the interviews ethically so that the best applicant is chosen for the position. There are many steps um, that need to be followed in order to give everyone an equal opportunity. Um, so if there's like a pool of employees or a pool of applicants, it's important that you look at the skill set and you look, religious beliefs or anything like that should not be looked at. Um, NASW Code of Ethics that were violated during Maria's interview. Um, the NASW Code of Ethics are standards that when working in the social work field, you should always follow whenever you are working with clients or individuals in the workplace. During Maria's interview, she was asked some questions that go against the code of ethics. For example, she was asked her marital status, her plan for having children, and religious beliefs. These are questions that should not be asked during an interview. Um, Again, they're just questions that is not necessary to um, receive the position. Um, I did go into the NASW Code of Ethics and I did pull this, and it says social workers should not practice, condone, facilitate, or collaborate with any form of discrimination on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, color, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, age, marital status, political belief, religion, immigration status, or mental or physical ability. Um, Describe how Maria could respond professionally to inappropriate or discriminatory questions. There are many different ways that Maria could respond, but the best way would be to say that she does not feel comfortable answering those types of questions, and that if she got pushback from the person that was interviewing her, she could politely say that she does not feel comfortable going forward with the interview and excuse herself. Um, this could also be a very uncomfortable position for the person who is interviewing. So it's easier said than done. But I do think that either just saying that you don't want to answer those questions or just politely remove yourself from the interview. Thank you.